What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my Draftkings MMA picks for UFC Vegas 13. We have Glover Teixeira versus Thiago Santos here. Really looking forward to the card. Coming off of a great week last week, had another takedown, making that 2 takedowns in the last 3 weeks. So I've been killing it as of late. Had a lot of people message me saying they got first place as well, and rightfully so. I mean, I think it was like a 50-way tie for first place, but first place finish regardless. Hopefully, keep it going with UFC Vegas 13 here. And last week's card was really tough. I mean, there was only one underdog that won. I believe it was Thiago Moises was the only underdog to get it done. And the week before that, I think no underdogs won. So I do think there could be a couple upsets here. We'll definitely talk about them. But before we get into it, if you guys can leave a like on this video, it helps out a ton. As always, subscribe if you are not subscribed yet. I would love to get 8,000 subs by the end of the month. I think we're almost, 400 away here. So if we get 8,000 by the end of the month, that would be sweet. And also, go check out Pub Sports. Me and Mo are doing a DraftKings video every Tuesday. So go check that out. We're going to go live. If you miss it live, go check it out. Lots of great information on there. Trying to get a video out earlier in the week, just talking DraftKings, getting more into depth with each fight from a DraftKings perspective. So go check that out. Go subscribe to Pub Sports. Almost 2,000 subs on there. They're going really fast there. All right, with that said, we're going to get right into it here, starting with the fight. Doesn't go to decision lines. And number one, you have Romanov versus De Lima here, minus 500. Fight doesn't go to decision, and I'll be surprised if this fight actually leaves the first round, honestly. De Lima's someone who has an awful takedown defense. We'll get more into it as the breakdown goes on, but this is a really good stylistic matchup for Romanov. And I remember they were supposed to fight either like a month ago, and Romanov was like 8,300, something crazy like that. But now he's 9,000, which I still am going to have a ton of them. I don't see this fight ending outside of the first round. If it does get outside the first round, I think it'll be over shortly after that. This is a fight you are going to want to target. I'm going to have a ton of Romanov. I think he gets a takedown, and I think the fight will probably be over shortly after. But if Romanov stays on the feet for too long, yeah, De Lima maybe is able to knock him out. But other than that, I really like Romanov here. Teixeira and Santos here, minus 405. Fight doesn't go to decision. Another fight that probably is going to end inside the distance. Both guys are pretty good finishers. Santos finishing 76% of his wins. Teixeira finishing 84%. Both have been finished a decent amount. Santos has lost by submission twice, has been knocked out twice as well. Teixeira has been knocked out 3 times. Really struggling with the pick, but I knew I'm going to be probably close to 50-50 on this main event. I'm kind of leaning slightly towards Teixeira, just with the injury concerns of Thiago Santos, and you're getting a nice price savings off of Teixeira as well. So 7,400 for Teixeira is not a bad look. I know he's 41 years old, but he's been looking great as of late. But I do want a lot of this fight. Probably going to go all in. I do think this fight's going to most likely finish here. Next, we have Giga Chikadze versus Jamie Simmons, and Chikadze's a guy that has not had a finish yet in the UFC. He looked fantastic in his last fight. Jamie Simmons, this is a big mismatch. Giga's like minus 500, rightfully so. The thing about Jamie Simmons is, really good wrestler. I've seen him pick up guys and slam on the regional scene. I think if this was like a couple fights ago, maybe I'd give Simmons a little bit more of a chance here, but Giga looks like he's improved that takedown defense a ton. He's improved his ground game a ton, and this is just a big mismatch. We'll get more into the numbers in a little bit, but I have Giga here all day. 9,300 for Giga. We'll talk about it, but it is a hefty price tag for someone that typically does not score well, but I probably will have a decent amount of them just because the matchup is such a mismatch here. Next, we have a very fun fight here, Ronnie Barcelos versus Khalid Taha, and someone's probably getting finished here. Minus 140, fight doesn't go to decision. Taha is very dangerous on the feet. Barcelos is dangerous on the feet. He's dangerous on the mat. I think it's a clear path to victory here for Barcelos, is getting that takedown, getting some ground and pound, maybe finding a submission. Or if he stands with Taha, it could be a little bit of a close fight, because Barcelos does get hit quite a bit. He absorbs 4.46 significant strikes. A little bit too much there, but he has an easy path to victory here. But if he stands with Taha, Taha is very live here. But I do think I'm going to have a little bit more Barcelos, but Taha's a pump play is not a bad option here. I do think someone's getting finished. Getting into our core plays up top, talked about him a little bit. Alexander Romanov. I love Romanov here. I love the stylistic matchup. for him. I was kind of iffy on him before coming into the UFC, but he went into his UFC debut. He looked fantastic. He showed me everything that I saw on tape, and this guy can get takedowns. And what not a better matchup than Marcos Rogerio de Lima here. 36% takedown defense. And what I like about Romanov, he comes in here and he goes right for the takedown. There's not much messing around, and I think that's what's going to happen here. It's hard to see de Lima lasting around. De Lima has a really bad cardio as well. Give me Romanov here. I'm going to have a decent amount of him, especially at 9,000. He is my favorite 9,000 play. I do like him over Barcelos. I do like him over Giga Chikadze as well, and I'm going to have a bunch. So give me Romanov here all day. Next, we have Thiago Santos, 8,800, part of the main event here. It's tough. I'm going back and forth on this main event. I do think Santos is very live for a KO. Teixeira has been knocked out 3 times. I think Santos is the faster fighter, the better striker. If Teixeira does take him down, it could be a little iffy there, but the injury concern really scares me. I'm going to have a lot of this fight. He has a core play. I don't know if I'm going to go there in cash, maybe. Don't know if I want to stack this as well. I can kind of see somebody getting finished early here, but tough fight to call. I do like Santos. I'm going to have a decent amount. I think there's a lot of upside with this Santos play, but I'm not overly confident in it, but I am confident if he does win, it's going to be a knockout, and it'll probably be early as well. Next, we have Brendan Allen, 8,400. Another fight that is really, really tough here versus Ian Heinisch. And there aren't many great plays up in this mid 8K range. I think Brendan Allen is someone who has a lot of upside. In all of his UFC wins, he scored, I believe, 90 above. His last one, I think he had around 90 here. And he has some upside here. Ian Heinisch is someone who actually gets taken down a decent amount. And that's just a recipe for disaster here against Brendan Allen, someone who's very good on the mat. Like I said, flip-flopping with this fight here. I do think Heinisch is the better striker. But yeah, and Allen's going to have about a 5-inch reach advantage here. And he's going to have like a 3 or 4-inch height advantage, which I really do like. I do like Allen to get it done. What I am concerned about that is that cardio. Allen is a black belt in BJJ. I believe Heinisch is a purple belt. And I think if Allen gets him down, he could maybe find a submission. Heinisch has been submitted before by Marcus Perez, I think in like 2017, so I think it's possible. But I am going to pick Allen. Heinisch is going to want to keep this on the feet. I think Heinisch could even go for takedowns here. It wouldn't be smart, but I think he could. But give me Brendan Allen here at 8,400. I think if he wins, there's a ton of upside here with Brendan Allen. So for that reason, he is a core play of mine. Is it a cash play? Maybe. Because Heinisch isn't really a finisher. I think Allen could also get multiple takedowns, advances. So yeah, I actually don't mind that in cash. Next, we have Darren Elkins, 8,700. Probably will get some hate for this play, but I really like Darren Elkins here. Someone who's 36 years old. They call him the damage for the reason he has taken a ton of damage, and this just feels like such a great stylistic matchup here against Eduardo Garagorri. Someone who has absolutely no takedown defense. He's been taken down 7 times already in the UFC in his 2 fights. Was submitted in, I believe, the first round, his last fight against Ramos. And yeah, he has no takedown defense. Elkins is a pretty solid wrestler. I think if he gets him down, yeah, I think he can even find a submission. So give me Elkins here. Elkins does average 2.43 takedowns per 15 minutes. I think it'd be very smart to come out here and get takedowns on Garagorri. If he does, I think he's going to win. I think he's going to have multiple takedown, advance upside, and probably even a submission if he is able to implement his game plan of getting the takedown. And I think he does. Like I said, as long as he fights smart, I think he will pay off that $8,700 price tag, and I think he'll be low owned. People hate on Darren Elkins. He's lost, I believe he's 1-4 in his last 5 fights. But that's against like pretty solid competition, and you could also argue that he did win his fight against Nate Landwehr's last fight here. So Darren Elkins, I like the price, I like the upside, I like the matchup, and probably going to be low owned as well. Getting into our GPP plays here, Ronnie Barcelos, 9,100. When he wins, he's scoring very well, and I like him in this matchup. I think he has a clear path to victory of getting the takedowns, but like I mentioned earlier, if he comes out here and strikes with Taha, it could be a long night. I just think he's a much better fighter. Not overly sold on Taha's takedown defense. Barcelos does have a 58% takedown accuracy. He does average 2.31 takedowns per 50 minutes. Come out here, take this guy down, maybe find a submission, get some ground and pound in. I think it's a great matchup for him, but don't mess around on the feet for too long. Taha has been knocked out once. Taha has never been submitted, and Barcelos has finished half his wins by knockout. I can definitely see a ground and pound victory here, but it could be sketchy if he does stand with Taha for too long, but I'm assuming he's going to come in here with a good game plan. Giga Chikadze, 9,300. I'm probably one of the biggest Giga haters, and he keeps on winning here, and he has a really good matchup here against Jamie Simmons, and Yeah, man. I mean, Simmons is someone who's a really good wrestler. He's just not great. He's what is he? He's what is he? If I can find it, he's 6-2. He's 6-2. He's lost to two really low-level guys. He's just not a great fighter. But the wrestling's there. I don't think the cardio's there. Maybe he can take down Jacozzi, but even then, Jacozzi has improved his ground game a lot. He was someone who went out there and he reversed Jamal Emmers. I think he even threw up a submission as well. And I don't know. I can see Jacozzi definitely getting this done probably early if Simmons stays striking with Jacozzi for any period of time at all. Chikadze's going to knock him out. So probably first round upside there for Chikadze. 9,300. I like Romanov a little bit more, but maybe you can even play them both in a lineup this week because I do think there are some underdogs that can definitely get it done. So yeah, Chikadze's fine at 9,300. Yan Xiaonan. She is 8,300. Very interesting play here. Women's MMA. She does throw a ton of significant strikes, averaging 6.72 per minute. I do think she wins this fight. The only thing I'm worried about is Gadelha coming in here and getting takedowns. I think Gadelha may even win the first round here, but after that, Gadelha does not have the gas tank to keep going. She does not have the gas tank to get multiple takedowns. And Yan's takedown defense isn't awful. I believe she has like a 70% takedown defense, and on the feet, it's Yan all day. She throws with a ton of power. I've seen her rock and hurt multiple girls here. And yeah, I think she's going to just, throw a ton of volume here. And even if she does not get the finish, I think she can, easily get over 100 significant strikes. We've seen her do it before. She has finished 42% of her wins by knockout. Decent finisher, actually. So yeah, give me Yan at 8,300. Probably lowish owned here as well. As for Gadelha, I think she can win that first round, but you don't really see her going for takedowns outside that first round nowadays. I don't think she has the cardio to do it. I do think she's on her way out, and it's crazy to say that at only 31 years old. Jan's 31 years old as well, but I do think she's improving. I think she's on her way up here. Next we have Tanner Boser, 8,900. And yeah, I really like this 8,800 and up range. I think all these guys are definitely in play. Boser is someone who is typically a decision guy. But he actually has some pretty solid power, and going against Andrei Arlovsky here, Arlovsky's been finished 12 times. He's been knocked out 12 times. I know his chin's been looking a little bit better as of late, but Tanner Boser has finished 53% of his wins by knockout, half his wins by knockout here. And I think the smaller cage is going to help press the action a little bit more. And watching tape on Arlovsky, he does leave a lot of openings. He is there to be hit when he does throw punches, and Boser is probably going to counter him, and I think he's going to knock him out here. Boser has, I think, finished his two last fights. I think he's finished both of them, and I could definitely see another finish here, 8,900. And the thing about I like about Boser, especially for a heavyweight, he throws a lot of volume. 4.54 significant strikes per minute. He throws with some good power, great leg kicks, and I think he's going to counter Arlovsky and knock him out here. So, yeah, I think Arlovsky's going to get knocked out here for, the 13th time. So, give me Boser here at 8,900. And then this next play is interesting. I believe it's the first fight of the night here. We have Max Griffin versus Ramiz Brahimaj. And Max Griffin is typically a decision guy. We don't see him getting many finishes in the UFC. He does finish 60% of his wins so far in his MMA career. Brahimaj, watching tape on him, he's a really great fighter. He's a great wrestler. The problem with him is he does slow down. If he does slow down, Max Griffin can definitely take over and honestly probably get a finish here. Brahimaj has lost to two lower level guys, both by decision. He's an 8-2. In both of his wins, he's won by submission there. Max Griffin has never been submitted, although he was submitted in an exhibition bout on The Ultimate Fighter in 2012. But other than that, he hasn't really been submitted, but he also really hasn't fought many wrestler grapplers like Brahimaj, and I actually was really impressed with Brahimaj, but if he's not able to get it done early, Max Griffin can definitely take over and definitely put it on him. So Max Griffin is somebody I'm looking at. Low-owned play as well. I think he's going to be low-owned. People are going to see that he's more of a decision guy, doesn't really score all that well on Draftkings, and I think if he does survive that early storm, he could score decent here. Live dogs here, Ian Heinisch, 7,800. Yeah, I think he's live. I think this is such a tough fight to pick, and I do think if he wins, it's probably a decent score here. It's probably some advances, reversals. I don't know. I mean, Ian Heinisch on the feet, I think he has the better cardio here. And even Ian Heinisch is someone who does slow down, but I do think he has a better cardio. I think his striking's better. I think the 5-inch reach disadvantage could give him some problems, but if he's able to get the decision here, I do think the winner of this fight is going to score pretty decent. And 7,800, I don't hate that. I think he can even get takedowns himself if he wants to. Wouldn't be smart, but Allen is, more than accepting of giving up the takedown whenever people shoot in on him. So Heinisch is somebody I'm looking at. I like the Allen side, but I think Heinisch is definitely live. Brahimaj here, 7,700. The dude looks like a beast, but he looks like a beast in the first round. He is really good wrestling. 8 wins by submission, finishing all of his wins by sub there. But the problem is he does slow down. But what I liked about Brahimaj was in the third round, he was still going out there and getting takedowns. I mean, this guy has a bunch of heart here. So 7,700. I think it's worth some shots here. Max Griffin's somebody I'm not overly high on. 15-8 in his career, 1-4 in his last 5 fights. I think Brahimaj is live for a sub, and like I said, Max Griffin, he's never been submitted, besides like 2012 on The Ultimate Fighter, but he's never really fought like a wrestler grappler like Brahimaj here. So yeah, I think Brahimaj has a decent shot here. 7,700. I think it's worth some plays. Glover Teixeira, 7,400 versus Thiago Santos. Tough fight. Some concerns with Santos coming off that big injury, big layoff here. I'm going to take some shots on Teixeira. I'm going to take a decent amount of shots. He's looking really good for 41 years old. Was checking his Instagram. He looks like he's in phenomenal shape. And Santos has actually been finished 4 times in 28 fights. Teixeira has been finished only 3 times in 38 fights. So 10 more fights there, has been finished less. And Santos actually has some really sketchy losses on his career as well. And if Teixeira gets him down, like, Santos is going to be in huge trouble. And Teixeira is not someone that goes out there and gets a crazy amount of takedowns, but he does get a couple each fight, it looks like. He does average about 1.87 takedowns per 50 minutes. If he does take down Thiago Santos, I think Santos is going to be in a ton of trouble there. I think this fight's a lot closer than the line indicates. Santos is like minus 220, minus 230, something like that. I think it should be closer with the injury concerns and all that. I think Teixeira has a decent chance here. I really do. So I will have a decent amount of Teixeira as an underdog here at 7,400. Next, we have Eduardo Garagori, 7,500. Yeah, I thought this guy was a scrub. I went back and watched his tape again. I actually think he's a pretty solid striker. It's just he has a really bad takedown defense. I think it's a clear win here for Darren Elkins, but if Elkins strikes with him for any amount of time, Garagori actually has some decent power. He's actually a decent finisher as well. It's just he hasn't really fought great competition at all. He's finished 77% of his wins, though, but that takedown defense is non-existent. So I'm expecting Elkins to come out here, take him down, submit him, most likely. But if Elkins does strike with Garagori could have a decent day. So Garagori is just somebody to think about there at 7,500. And then finally, the punt play here, Khalid Taha, 7,100. It's going to be dangerous. It's going to be dangerous if Barcelos is going to strike with them. Taha's a very dangerous opponent here, and he's a huge underdog, which I can see why. I think there's a clear path to victory for Barcelos, and that's the ground game. But when he's standing with Taha for any period of time, it's going to be very sketchy. And he could crack Barcelos. Barcelos is someone who has never been, I don't think he's been knocked out. He's never been knocked out, but he has been submitted. Very good shin there, but just like a pump player. I'm not expecting him to win, but would not be surprised if he did go out there and land a hard shot. Somebody who's very low volume, but he throws with a ton of power there. All right, guys, and that's about it. Make sure you guys become a member of my Patreon. The link will be in the description there. Now's a great time to sign up early in the month. You get more content for your dollar there. Really cheap prices out there, very affordable. You get full access to my model with all the stats, something I use each and every week, my premium projections, GPP lineup percentages, my Draftkings article that'll be out either late Friday night, early Saturday morning. Also access to my Discord. We almost have 200 people on the Patreon right now. Would love to get 200 by the end of the month. About like 20 away, something like that. So sign up. Great content out there. Lots of great people in the Discord as well. We talk. We're very active in the Discord, especially on fight night. So come sign up, hang out, all that good stuff. If not, make sure you guys leave this video a like. It helps out a lot. Subscribe if you have not yet. Look out for my other breakdowns, all that good stuff. And go check out the video me and Mo did on Pub Sports Radio, going live at 9 p.m. Eastern time around there. And then if you missed it live, go check out the replay. Lots of great information on there. And good luck this Saturday. Really good card.